to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Well, as you can see, and as members of the channel know, I am once again on the road, so I'm not in my usual place. But I wanted to do this video because I wanted to talk as a follow-up to my last video. My last video was about the WNBA giving an offer to the players, the WNBPA, to make significantly more money, to change some things that one would think the players wanted changed. Unfortunately, we don't even know all the things that are out there on the table, but apparently the WNBPA responded to the offer and they're not having it. So we're going to go over to ESPN.com and find out what sources are telling us. I'll give you briefly my thoughts regarding the whole thing. And of course, you have the comment section to share your thoughts. Headline for the article is Sources. Union feels WNBA CBA proposal misses key demands. And as you can see here, this article is written by Alexa Philippou, and we are used to hearing from Alexa on matters concerning the WNBA. So generally speaking, when we see her name, we pay attention. She starts off this article by saying the Women's National Basketball Players Association, that's of course the WNBPA, does not view the WNBA's latest collective bargaining agreement proposal as something that moves negotiations forward. Sources told ESPN on Thursday, 10 days before the current CBA is set to expire. Now, in case you forgot, it originally was set to expire on October 31st. They agreed on an extension, and now they're running out of time, and they are not satisfied with the latest offering. So I'm not going to read this whole article, but some key points I want to share with you. In the second paragraph, it says the league's proposal, first reported by the Associated Press and confirmed by ESPN earlier this week, includes a revenue sharing component that, in combination with a base salary, would allow players to earn a maximum salary of more than $1.1 million, an average of more than $460,000, and a minimum of more than $220,000. To know whether or not that's good, you have to remind yourself of what it has been. And you also have to remind yourself that one of the things, perhaps a main thing the players have been asking for is revenue sharing. So let's look at how things have been. Again, 1.1 million salary. I don't know if that's every player, but that's out there for some players. An average of more than $460,000 and a minimum of more than $220,000. So what has it been? You can look right here. In 2025, let me highlight it for you. In 2025, the league's minimum salary was $66,079. That's the minimum in 2025. And its supermax was $249,244. So $66,079 was the minimum. And up here again, they're talking about an average of more than $460,000 and a minimum of more than $220,000, and salaries max for some of $1.1 million. So you can see the improvement. However, you see this word here, but sources told ESPN the Players Union does not believe the league's proposal includes a system where the salary cap and player salaries sufficiently grow with the business, a long-standing demand of the players since they opted out of the current CBA in October 2024. Here's another one. The players do not want a fixed salary system. What do they want? It says instead, they want one based more directly on revenue. They've been telling us this. Now, it goes on to say, the league previously said in a statement it has proposed Let's highlight this for you. Significant guaranteed salary cap increases and substantial uncapped revenue sharing that enables player salaries to grow as the league's business grows. But the union isn't having it. The union responded in a statement that said the proposal, quote, put lipstick on a pig and retread a system that isn't tied to any part of the business and intentionally undervalues the players. So they're not happy. They don't think it's serious. They say it's a lipstick on a pig and it doesn't move negotiations at all. So when we go back to the headline, union feels WNBA CBA proposal misses key demands. And as the first paragraph told us, the WNBPA does not view the WNBA's latest collective bargaining agreement proposal as something that moves negotiations forward. So what are your thoughts? Do you share that same mindset that what has been proposed does not move negotiations forward? To me, I'm looking at players who are being offered $1.1 million, a higher minimum salary, a higher average salary. How does that not move anything forward? And as well, there's some revenue sharing. How does that not move things forward? I understand that fans have different mindsets about this. There are some fans who are all about the WNBA players getting what they're asking for. There are other people who are like, you haven't turned a profit. What's going on here? And then there are people like me, maybe you can consider me in the middle. I don't know. I just don't get the impression that the loudest voices in the WNBA, meaning the players who've been there for a while, I don't get the impression that they are committed to making this thing work. And part of that has to do with other options like this Project B, like Unrivaled. I just don't get the sense that they are about making the WNBA part work. I also get the sense that perhaps they feel that they are more valuable than what we have seen until recently. In particular, when Caitlin Clark came into the league, it really caused a burst, and I mean a positive burst in interest and people showing up. But still, some of these players, when they play, people are not buying tickets and showing up in mass and all those things. And I think I had said back in 2024, I thought that they should have recognized that there's been great growth and then rolled with that and allowed the doors to continue to open. I felt like they jumped the gun. Be that as it may, they're here. And I don't have a problem with people advocating for themselves as long as they're doing it in good faith. And I'm just not sure that's what's happening. And not everybody, again, is going to have an opportunity to play in Project B or even in Unrivaled. And then you get the younger, more talented players like Caitlin Clark, who has dreamed of playing in the WNBA all her life, and many of us who want to watch her play basketball. And we're looking and we're going, they're using terms like lipstick on a pig, or we're undervalued, and we're not moving forward. And it seems rigid to me. And I guess because we don't have all the information of what's being thrown out there, I kind of feel like I'm in the middle. But I don't know. I think there's some parts of this is unreasonable or are unreasonable, and I don't necessarily trust fully the loudest voices at the table, because once again, I see a conflict of interest, and I'm not a big fan in negotiating of using terms like lipstick on a pig or we're being undervalued, or it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. I'm not saying again, I don't think that they should should be able to advocate for themselves. Sure. But I'm not sure that the people who are doing the most advocating and negotiating at the table are fully invested in the league itself. That's just my limited perspective. And I acknowledge that it's limited, but perception is reality. And a lot of people have the same perception. So those are my thoughts. Wanted to weigh in on it. What are your thoughts? You can get in the comment section. We'll see what happens because time is running out. If you've not subscribed to the Adrienne Ross Show, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video as well, and share. And I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.